afternoon. My name is Ben. I'm from Seaton Baptist Church. I'm the minister there. Work part-time 3 days a week for the Seaton Baptist Church, and have recently been given a grant by Home Missions to increase my week to 4 days. So I have one day that I can just give totally to the community, and it's allowed us to begin to pursue a vision that we've had as a church with something called Restore, which is very much about restoring or seeing our community restored, seeing people, places restored and brought back into life again, and to help people flourish and to remove things which are stopping them from growing and living life to the full. And we really got that vision through Isaiah 58, which talks about releasing the chains that bind people, to feed the hungry and to give shelter to those that need it. That was our vision as a church that we really picked up on and wanted to do something in the community, which brought together a load of things like food bank and CAP, and provided a load of different help in the community so that we could see lives restored. And the church were looking at this as SBC. We were praying about this and had a small group that were meeting and are still meeting about this. But I want to share a quick story, because the first day that I had a home missions day, the first time that the sort of grant come through and I had an official day that I could work on this, I was just praying and asking God to kind of show us a way forward, because it is a bit overwhelming really knowing where you start. And whilst during that day it got to about 5:30, and at 5:30 I received a call from a contact via the council asking if I would become a coordinator or coordinate a new project in Seaton, because one of the councillors was too busy to take that responsibility on, and so they had asked me to do it, which seemed just such an amazing opportunity. So long short of it was that we were given some funding to begin a small group with people from across the community working in the community to be better equipped and trained to be able to make Seaton into a town which would be more mentally health aware and put things in place so that we can look after our community. So it's a great opportunity, and we've done about 2 weeks of this meeting together, and then the coronavirus hit, and as you are probably all aware, currently in lockdown at the moment, and you too will find yourselves in that position, I'm sure, and it changed everything, and we started meeting online. But also at the same time we had a call from the mayor in Seaton asking if we would think about how we might support this community during the time of coronavirus, supporting the isolated and the lonely and the vulnerable in our town. And so I was asked to go down to a meeting with the council, and I was basically asked by the council, or told by the council, that they thought I had a plan, and what did that plan look like, and could we kind of roll that out in Seaton, which I had to kind of say, well, we haven't got a plan, we've been looking at health and well-being, but I sort of suggested the idea of I'd been given that day one of those flyers that said, I'm a volunteer, I live in your road, this is my number, give me a call if you need anything. And I sort of suggest that we put those through each house in Seaton and set up a hotline. And basically, long and short of it was that with the church's help and with the local community, we now have a system in place. I went out that evening, bought a mobile phone, set up an email address, and then we had cards put out to everybody in Seaton with a phone number and an email address that they could just contact if they needed help. And we very, very quickly set up coordinators for different areas in Seaton and mapped it up. And we're now in a place where we have 11 coordinators with 160 volunteers working underneath them in different areas so that every road is covered. And one of the things that's been really beautiful about it is that we have steered away from a lot of policies and documents. We have just facilitated friendship. we've asked people in roads to put their numbers through neighbours' doors and to introduce themselves as helpers in that road. And so what's grown naturally is this just real care and love for the neighbour. It's been so successful, and the volunteers are kind of organically have grown from each road. So it's not someone coming out of town or unknown, but actually it's neighbours helping neighbours. And I'm sure you might have seen similar things happen in your area. It's just taken off in Seaton really well, and we're now looking at how, as we kind of exit the coronavirus, which I know will take a long time, but as we think about that scheme kind of coming to a bit of an end, we're looking at how we transition that across to health and well-being. And we've reached out to all of our coordinators and volunteers and asked them how willing they would be to get involved in something where we are looking after the mental health of those in our community, building friendships, supporting the vulnerable and the lonely. And it has been overwhelming, the interest and support that we've had from our coordinators and volunteers, almost unanimous at the moment, people wanting to continue in some capacity. And it's just been incredible to witness that, seeing love just really kind of being spilling out into Seaton. And as a church, it's been great. Half of the coordinators are basically from the church. We've got volunteers that are also part of the churches together in Seaton, and we're very much connected and in relationship with all the different people. It doesn't have a Christian banner event. It doesn't need to. It is Christians working alongside the community, and it's been great to watch. And I just really ask that you would pray with us, because Restore had kind of assumed that it would have perhaps a high street presence, that we would try and bring everything together under kind of an umbrella of restoration. But what we've found is that we're now looking at being asked to partner up with the community and to put something together to transition this across. And that's very much looking like Restore's going to step in to that kind of need. And God's giving us an opportunity which is far greater than we had ever imagined. It doesn't look exactly like how we had imagined, but it seems to be an opportunity that's kind of, I won't say bigger and better, but different and wider than we could have ever imagined and that we could have done on our own. And we're just moving with God at the moment on this and trying to join in with the things that He's doing and the way that the Spirit's working. So I'd really ask for I just thank Home Missions for the money that's been given from the churches that support that and that great need, and also just ask for your prayers going forward, that we would know a clear way forward, that as Christians and as the church, that we can have an impact by building relationships with our community and getting really stuck in. And I still don't know 100% what it's going to look like, but God's got a plan, and I think it's going to be very much us following the mission statement of the church, which is to be a church without walls. We don't own a building, we don't have a property of our own, but we are completely involved in the community, and we just want to continue to do that. And this is an opportunity that we really want to kind of grab with both hands and just show the local community that the church cares, and build relationships with people to be able to share God's love. So yeah, that's me really. Thank you again for all your support, prayers, and thanks to Home Mission. And if you want to know more, we'd love to just be able to tell you more of that story as it unfolds, and to be able to come and tell your congregations about what's going on in Seaton. I guess my kind of message is just to trust God in the unexpected, and to expect that He might do unexpected things in our communities. Thank you.